Hello everyone, I'm Zhichen from University of Illinois. Today I want to share our findings in a real-world dataset from a security operations center. This work is collaborated with IBM and NCSA researchers. So today's network is complex. It contains large volume of traffic with different sources and destinations for different services. One security solution like firewall may not be enough to protect network from advanced threats. As such, today's organizations often have a security operations center to provide an additional layer of security. SOC will monitor and detect the anomalies of the network traffic. If a suspicious activity or an attack is found, they will analyze and respond to it. For example, they will determine if the suspicious IP needs to be blocked or if they need to stop certain services. And after solving the incident with the new report recorded, the SOC will try to model the attacker behavior and update new rules to prevent similar malicious activities in the future. However, many studies have reported that SOCs are facing critical challenges. In one study involved with over 2,000 security analysts, the majority of them feel their team is overwhelmed by the volume of alerts. And 55% admit that they aren't entirely confident in their ability to prioritize and respond to the alerts. And 70% mentioned they are emotionally impacted by their work. They might show negative personas. For example, they might be wound up, anxious, or grumpy. And there are many other quantitative user studies have shown the serious challenges these analysts are facing. However, there's still a gap to really understand these problems with a quantitative analysis. Quantitative studies are difficult as they require real-world data sets within the SOC, and such data are often considered sensitive. So in our paper, we want to get the SOC data to quantitatively answer these questions. First, what are the key bottlenecks in the SOCs for threat detection? Second, how excessive are the security alerts, and what are the common reasons behind the alert triggering? Third, how effective are the alerts to correlate or indicate the true or successful attacks? To understand these problems, we collaborated with an SOC at NCSA, the National Center for Supercomputing Applications. It's located in our campus with thousands of servers, and it has a large number of users, researchers from all over the world. And we got two types of data, 227 true attack incidents from the past 20 years. The reports are produced to describe the investigation process and conclusions in an unstructured format. We also have more than 100 million Zeek alerts from past 4 years, and they are generated by Zeek, which is a network monitoring system. Okay, let's look at our analysis on the attack incidents report. So we manually label the incident reports to understand how did the attack break into the system. The figure shows a number of different MITRE attack techniques. And in total, 178 incidents have identified their breaking methods. We can see the number of techniques significantly dropped after 2011. This corresponds to the SOC's infrastructure upgrade. For example, they enabled two-factor authentications for most applications. But even after 2011, some of the user accounts are compromised because 2FA is not properly configured. And by looking at further details, we find humans is the main bottlenecks for threat detection. In 107 incidents that have documented the involvement of analysts, 70 of them, which is 65.42%, need 2 or more analysts. And we also find some of the incidents need efforts from a large number of people. It may include people outside of the core SOC team. So it usually takes more than one analyst to work on a single attack. And another interesting finding is that it often takes a long time for the post-attack analysis, which is the analysis after the attack detection. It takes 53.2 days on average to investigate and understand the attacks. Next, we look at the attack start time and the discovery time. Comparing the left and right figure, we can see while the attack start time distributed more evenly, the attack discovery time is more aligned with the analyst's working hours from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And this may cause extra delays for detection to attacks happen during off hours. We now move to the analysis to alert dataset. So we first quantitatively measure how many alerts were raised. The first period has more than 100,000 alerts on average every day, and it dropped to 25,000 in the second period. The SOC has implemented a black hole router, BHR, to automatically handle some of the alerts and block those attacker IPs. The figure above shows the number of daily alerts. We can see a high level of dynamics of these alerts. Note that two figures have different Y scale. The left one for the earlier period has much more alerts. To understand the reasons behind the alert triggering, we have distinguished the alerts into 4 categories. The majority part are benign triggers, which are correctly fired alerts, but may have business-justified reasons. There are also a large part of attack attempts. These are alerts that try to attack but fail to compromise the system. The alerts related to true attacks have very small portion. They are correctly fired alerts, and they relate to the incidents that successfully compromise the system. And there are still 23.72% alerts. We cannot determine their alert reasons, so we put them into the unknown category. Let's take a deeper look at the benign trigger category. So we've worked manually to check each type of alerts with 2 SOC analysts. We identified benign triggers as those alerts that are correctly fired but have business-justified reasons. We found benign triggers occupy a significant portion of alerts, at least 48.91%. From the right table, we can see the detailed categories of benign triggers. There are internal scans that proactively check the vulnerabilities and misconfigurations. There are also external penetration tests from the third-party vendors. But not all benign triggers are well documented by the SOC. Identifying them took a significant efforts from us. Okay, let's go to the next part. We can take a look at what we find in the attack attempts. We label the attack attempts mainly based on the black hole router system. Attack attempts are those BHR blocked alerts, but exclude those alerts that have already identified as benign triggers. We examine how persistent the attackers are. The figure shows our CDF plot for recurrent attackers of attack attempts. The x-axis of this figure is the number of active days for a specific attacker IP. We can see most attack attempts only last within 1 day, but there are some persistent attack attempts at the tail. On the right, we show the top 15 most active attackers. Each dot here means the attacker has attack attempts in that day. And after some investigation, we find the top one is actually an undocumented external scanner set up by one SOC member, and it is used to test the BHR system. And for other IPs that truly related with attackers, some of them had a concentrated period of attack attempts, and the others may spread their attack attempts across the time. So we conclude the vast majority of attack attempts are short-lived, but some persistent attack attempts exist. We then analyze the alert distribution of victims. In the figure, x-axis is the number of victim IPs. On the left of the figure, we can see a very small portion of the victim IPs contribute a large number of alerts. And this shows an uneven distribution of security alerts among victims. And this may cause challenges for security prediction models developed for per host analysis. After analyzing both attack incidents reports and alert datasets, we want to link the alerts with the true attacks. So we want to map the related alerts to each true attacks. And within the 4-year period of alert datasets, there are in total 11 true attacks. But since there's no ground truth mapping information, we need significant efforts to query and link the 2 datasets based on IPs and time. So in the table, there are 5 attacks we can find their related alerts. And there are 2 other incident reports suggest that Zeek alerts were triggered, but the logs are missing. So in 11 incidents that happened in this period, 7 of them have triggered alerts. And we also show the total number of alerts happened that day. We can see the great distraction that the SOC analysts are facing. Still, while excessive alerts are problematic, for selectives, those true attacks without related alerts are concerning. Is there a chance to identify them? One way we think about is to look at the abnormal alert patterns. To check the feasibility, we want to see if the patterns of the alerts are abnormal in the days that true attacks happened. We first assign a readiness value for each kind of alert. It is their ranking of frequency in the whole dataset. We then calculate the readiness score for each IP in each day. It is sum of the readiness value of each unique alert on the IP in that day. But this analysis needs the help of connection logs, and we only have these logs for 2 years, which covers attack number 9, 10, and 11. On the right figure, we can see all these 3 attacks have located in the outlier area. This means on the attack days, the attacker IP triggered rare alert types. This shows there is an opportunity to identify and prioritize alerts that indicate true attacks based on the abnormal alert patterns. Here are some of the main takeaways and recommendations we propose. For network intrusion detection, we think simply using the benign and malicious, those 2 classes are not enough. Attack attempts and benign triggers take a significant portion of alerts. And they should be distinguished in the benchmark dataset construction and evaluation process. And for the excessive alerts in SOC, we also have 2 recommendations. First, to speed up the post-attack investigation and improve the efficiency of analysts, SOCs need efficient ways to store, link, and curate the different logs. Second, for threat response, automations are needed to handle alerts, especially during off hours when human analysts have limited availabilities. Okay, that's the end of my talk. Thanks for listening.